Have you ever felt like your retirement is slipping away, overshadowed by endless chores and unfulfilled dreams? Imagine stepping into a new chapter of life with the freedom to live on your terms, like Aura, a 62-year-old who defied tradition and reclaimed her independence. In this video, we dive deep into Aura's inspiring story of resilience and self-discovery. You'll discover why it's crucial to prioritize your happiness, even when faced with societal expectations and familial pressures. Stay tuned until the end to see how Aura's courageous decision can inspire you to take charge of your own life and embrace the retirement you've always dreamed of. Don't miss out on this empowering journey that will leave you motivated and ready to live boldly. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Part 1. When you retire. Never hand over such resources to your children, particularly after reaching the age of 70. In a world where the demands and pressures of modern life often test the strength of familial bonds, the story of Mr. Bernie provides a thought-provoking perspective on parental love and expectations. Imagine dedicating your entire life to nurturing and supporting your children, only to feel forgotten and underappreciated as you reach your twilight years. This is the poignant reality faced by Mr. Bernie and his wife. Once fervent parents who invested every ounce of their effort and resources into ensuring their sons had the best start in life, they now find themselves at a crucial juncture. Their story is a deeply moving reminder that while the capacity for parental love is boundless, it must sometimes grapple with the stark realities of evolving family dynamics. As we delve into this compelling narrative, we uncover the reasons behind Mr. Bernie's decision to safeguard his retirement savings, prioritizing his and his wife's independence over unconditional financial support for their children. This story holds profound lessons for retirees navigating similar emotional and financial dilemmas, highlighting the emotional complexities of balancing love and self-preservation in one's later years. Yet there are exceptions to this narrative, and Mr. Bernie from our community is a prime example. He and his wife, both former civil servants with respectable salaries and substantial savings, have entered retirement with a combined pension exceeding $5,000. Despite their financial security, they have chosen not to give a single cent to their children since retiring, a decision that leaves many people puzzled. While many parents are eager to offer financial support to their children, Mr. Bernie and his wife stand firm in their refusal. One might wonder about their reasoning. Let's hear Mr. Bernie's story and understand his perspective. At 72 years old and having been retired for 12 years, Mr. Bernie reflects on his life with a mix of pride and resolve. His wife, 5 years his junior, and also retired for over a decade, shares in this comfortable existence. They have worked diligently in state-owned enterprises, and their pensions allow them a life of leisure and travel. They indulge in their desires without reservation, believing that retirement is a time to savor the rewards of their hard work. Despite their financial comfort, they have chosen not to support their children financially. Some might argue that with such a generous pension, there should be ample funds available to help their children who face their struggles. However, Mr. Bernie and his wife prefer to keep their money for themselves, even if it loses value over time, rather than redirecting it to their children. Mr. Bernie elaborates, "Our choices are not born of callousness. We have carefully observed our son's behaviors, and our observations have left us disheartened. Having experienced the harshness of poverty ourselves, we are acutely aware of the struggles it brings. When our circumstances improved after years in public service, we showered our sons with care and love. We provided everything they needed without hesitation, but were firm in our stance against spending on unnecessary luxuries. This balanced approach, I believe, has been instrumental in their success. Our sons excelled academically, attended prestigious universities, graduated with distinction, and secured careers in major cities. They married and started families of their own, leading stable and prosperous lives. We take pride in the fact that many admire us for raising them well. Our sons have become successful professionals in urban centers, a testament to the effectiveness of our parenting and the boundaries we set. In essence, Mr. Burney's narrative challenges conventional expectations of parental support and invites us to reconsider the balance between familial duty and personal well-being. His story serves as a heartfelt exploration of the sacrifices and choices that define the journey of retirement and familial relationships. Mr. Burney reflects on the extensive support he and his wife provided for their sons, a testament to their deep commitment and love. He shares, although both of our sons were exceptional in their ways, my wife and I invested significantly in helping them establish their families and careers. For our eldest son, we leveraged our connections to secure him a position in a reputable state-owned company immediately after he graduated. When he got married, we generously contributed $10,000 towards the down payment for his new house. Later, when he decided to buy a car, we helped with an additional $5,000. Our younger son faced more challenges. His college major was not in high demand, making job prospects difficult after graduation. We invested in his further education to improve his chances, and it wasn't until he was nearly 30 that he found a stable job. When he married, he chose a partner from another province, and we spent over $5,000 on his dowry. Moreover, we used all our accumulated savings to buy houses for both sons, a gesture that represented decades of hard work and sacrifice. Mr. Burney continues, once our sons had children of their own, my wife and I decided to retire early to help care for them. My wife retired at 50 to look after our eldest grandson, while I retired at 60 to take care of our youngest granddaughter. We devoted ourselves entirely to these responsibilities, not resting until the children were old enough to start school. We gave everything we had for our sons, believing that our selfless efforts would eventually be reciprocated. But what we received in return was not the filial care we had hoped for. Instead, we encountered a lack of consideration and a sense of entitlement. Where there is family, there is typically a home where parents are visited and cared for. Yet our sons are an exception. They rarely visit us, even during holidays, and their calls are infrequent. Our eldest son, who lives just 300 kilometers away, a mere 4-hour drive, comes home only once a year, usually during Chinese New Year. Each visit is marked by him arriving empty-handed and leaving with gifts. I recall one particular year when neighbors' children brought bags of goods and gifts for their parents, while our eldest son's generosity was notably lacking. He drove home in SUV but only brought 2 pieces of clothing for my wife and me, with no New Year gifts. Whereas other children give red envelopes to their parents during the New Year, our eldest son never did. The only thoughtful gestures came from our grandchildren, who gave us their red envelopes. Before the New Year festivities were over, our eldest son would clear out the goods we had prepared, leaving us with nothing. That year, feeling particularly disheartened, I voiced my frustration. My son responded, "Anyway, you're both so old now. You can't eat much, and it's a waste to leave things at home." Mr. Burney's disappointment extends further to his younger son. He recounts, when we bought a house for him, he immediately demanded money to buy a car. His approach was aggressive and entitled, saying, "Dad, I want to buy a car. Quickly transfer $7,000 to me." Do it now. His demanding tone felt like a slap in the face, as if he were the parent and I was the child. Although we could afford to give him the money, I found his manner of asking deeply troubling. He already owned a car, and buying another seemed wasteful. I refused. Not out of financial inability, but because I felt his approach was disrespectful and presumptuous. Mr. Burney's story illustrates the emotional toll of investing deeply in one's children only to face a lack of appreciation and respect. His experience underscores the complexities of balancing generosity with the expectations of reciprocal care, especially in the later stages of life. Mr. Burney recounts the challenges he and his wife faced with their sons with a heavy heart. When my younger son couldn't get the money he wanted for a car, he resorted to other tactics, claiming he needed funds for house renovations or to start a business. Each time, he asked for tens of thousands of dollars. Although I saw through his motives, I only gave him small amounts, hoping to prevent him from becoming too reliant on us. Unfortunately, my refusal to hand over large sums led to a noticeable shift in his behavior. He began treating us with a coldness that was both hurtful and bewildering. His visits became perfunctory. He would come, eat, and then leave quickly, showing no warmth or interest in spending time with us. Even when we asked him to stay longer, he would dismiss our requests, claiming that staying at home was uncomfortable for him. Gradually, the indifference from both of our sons hardened our hearts. Mr. Burney's voice trembles as he recalls a particularly painful episode. 4 years ago, my wife was hospitalized due to severe osteoarthritis. We covered all the medical expenses for her surgery and treatment, but my wife desperately wished for our sons to visit her, to our deep disappointment. They avoided coming home as if visiting their mother would be a financial burden. They both made excuses, one citing work commitments and the other claiming ill health. Their lack of concern was deeply distressing. The surgery was meant to be routine, but it caused my wife immense emotional pain. While other patients were surrounded by their children, we were left with only each other for comfort. It was a stark reminder of our isolation. The pain in Mr. Burney's voice becomes more pronounced as he continues. As my wife was still recovering, I suffered a fall and fractured my foot. At that time, my wife's back issues meant she couldn't care for me. I reached out to our sons, hoping they would come to our aid. But they continued to make excuses. One said he was too busy with work, and the other claimed he wasn't feeling well. Despite my pleas, they both insisted they couldn't come. Feeling helpless, I had to spend extra money to hire a caregiver. During my recovery, I learned through our grandchildren that my eldest son had taken his family on a seaside vacation, while the younger one was off hiking. Knowing they were enjoying themselves while we struggled at home made the pain of my injury seem secondary to the emotional hurt. Reflecting on these experiences, Mr. Burney poignantly concludes, "People often ask if we still need to give our savings to our sons. These experiences have led my wife and me to reassess our approach. We've gradually distanced ourselves from relying on our sons and have stopped pinning our hopes on them for our retirement. Since we are still capable of taking care of ourselves and given their current treatment of us, we realized that relying on them would be even more detrimental if we were in a worse state. So we have decided to hold onto our savings firmly. We will not give them a penny, even in emergencies. Instead, we will ensure we have enough funds to support ourselves. If we find ourselves unable to care for ourselves in old age, we plan to move into a nursing home together. While a nursing home may lack the warmth of family and personalized care, we believe that paying for services will provide a more comfortable and dignified experience than depending on our sons, who have shown they are unwilling to offer the support we need." Mr. Burney's story might be an exception, but it highlights a growing reality in today's society where emotional bonds and familial duties are often weakened. In an era where personal freedom and self-gratification often overshadow traditional values, it's becoming increasingly rare to find children who are wholly devoted to caring for their aging parents. As we advance in age, it's crucial to protect our retirement savings, helping our children when they face genuine hardships, but not to the extent that compromises our well-being. Life is filled with its share of ups and downs, and children need to navigate their challenges. Our support should be balanced and within our means, ensuring that we remain secure in our retirement years. Many elderly people envision their retirement years filled with the joy of helping their children raise their grandchildren. However, today's younger generation often prefers to raise their children without relying on grandparents for assistance. This shift means that retirees might find themselves with an abundance of time and no clear purpose. If their pension is sufficient, retirement life may be manageable, but without it, financial worries can quickly set in. Many people, even at 60, are still youthful and capable of working for a few more years. So what kind of work can retirees pursue after retirement? Let's explore 4 viable job options for retirees seeking meaningful and productive ways to spend their time. Community security roles are often filled by retired individuals who want to stay active. If you're retired and in good health, consider applying for a position as a community security guard. In my community, several security guards are retired seniors who enjoy a relatively relaxed job. They spend their days reading newspapers and managing entry access to the community. To find such opportunities, focus on medium to lower-end communities where the management might be more flexible about hiring retired personnel. However, be aware that security work can involve night shifts, which can be demanding. My uncle took on this role and found the night shifts tiring but manageable. Networking or checking with community property offices can help you find these positions. Another option is offering nanny services, but with a twist. Mrs. Carol, a 52-year-old retiree with a monthly pension of over $1,500, found herself feeling unfulfilled with traditional part-time jobs like working in a supermarket. After the passing of her husband, and with her daughter still studying, Mrs. Carol sought a more meaningful occupation. She realized that many elderly people, much like her former acquaintance, needed help with daily tasks such as cooking and cleaning. She decided to offer non-live-in nanny services within her community, focusing on assisting as needed rather than full-time care. Her initiative involved cooking meals, cleaning, and even accompanying elderly clients to medical appointments. Mrs. Carol's decision to enter this field was met with immediate interest from the community. She quickly found that many elderly individuals were not just looking for practical help but also yearned for companionship and understanding. Her work provided her with a sense of purpose and a profound connection with those she helped. Seeing the growing need for such services, she expanded her offerings and eventually built a small team of former colleagues to support elderly individuals in her area. This endeavor not only enriched the lives of the elderly, but also brought a renewed sense of fulfillment to Mrs. Carol and her team. In summary, while Mr. Burney's experience may be an extreme case, it reflects a broader trend where traditional familial responsibilities are shifting. For retirees, it's essential to safeguard their financial security and seek meaningful ways to stay engaged. Options like community security work or providing personalized nanny services can offer both financial stability and personal satisfaction, helping retirees maintain their independence and sense of purpose in their later years. Another viable option for retirees is setting up a small stall to sell goods. If you have some savings to invest, you can purchase a small cart or kiosk and set up shop at the entrance of supermarkets or malls, selling items like fresh fruits, snacks, or homemade goodies. This entrepreneurial venture allows you to enjoy the independence of running your own business, though it does come with some financial risk. For those with limited funds, this might not be the best route due to the potential for failure. However, for those who have a bit of spare cash and a love for self-employment, it could be a fulfilling opportunity. Additionally, if you have a garden and grow your vegetables, you can sell your homegrown produce at your stall, adding a personal touch to your offerings. For retirees, especially women who may not be inclined to take on physically demanding roles like security guards, working as a dishwasher in a restaurant can be a practical option. My aunt discovered this path after her retirement. She worked during lunch and dinner hours at a local restaurant, leaving her days free for rest. While the pay might not be high, it provides a way to stay active and earn a little extra income. Similar opportunities exist in hotel housekeeping or other low-intensity jobs that can accommodate the physical demands of older adults. Finding such work not only helps with financial security but also keeps retirees engaged and part of the workforce. It's essential, however, to choose low-intensity jobs to avoid overexertion, which can lead to health issues. The goal of retirement should be to enjoy life, with earning money being a secondary consideration. Even if your financial resources are modest, leading a simple, content life and managing your expenses wisely can still sustain you. In conclusion, whether it's running a small stall, working part-time in a restaurant, or exploring other low-impact jobs, retirees have various options to stay active and financially secure. I extend my warmest wishes to all retirees for a happy and fulfilling retirement. Remember, you're never alone in this journey. There's a supportive community out there, and there are always opportunities to make the most of your retirement years. Part 2: Don't live with your children in old age. Today, I want to delve into a deeply emotional and poignant question: should parents, as they age, choose to live with their children, or should they forge their path and chase their dreams? This question is brought to life through the remarkable story of Aura, a 62-year-old mother who took an audacious step, defying societal norms and expectations. After the loss of her beloved husband and enduring a decade of solitude, Aura, yearning for companionship and care, decided to move in with her son and his wife. What she hoped would be a comforting transition into her twilight years, however, unfolded into a stark and heartbreaking reality. Initially, Aura's decision seemed like a hopeful embrace of family support. The warmth of her son's invitation felt like a lifeline amid her loneliness. At first, the atmosphere was promising. Her daughter-in-law welcomed her with open arms and encouraging words, suggesting she enjoys activities like dancing, walking, or socializing with friends outside. It was a facade of kindness that masked a grimmer truth. But as time went on, the initial gestures of goodwill slowly deteriorated. The tasks Aura was asked to perform began with light chores but quickly escalated into an overwhelming cascade of unpaid labor. What began as occasional help with cleaning gradually became an all-encompassing role, where Aura found herself responsible for cooking, managing household duties, and caring for her grandchildren. The irony of the situation was cruel and striking. Aura had imagined retirement as a time of relaxation and fulfillment, where she could savor the fruits of a lifetime of hard work and perhaps rekindle old dreams. Instead, she was thrust into an exhausting cycle of domestic work, feeling increasingly used and unappreciated. Her sense of being a mere caretaker rather than a cherished family member weighed heavily on her spirit. Amid this disheartening reality, Aura made a choice that stunned her family but was a testament to her courage and self-respect. She decided to leave the household that had promised her so much yet delivered so little. Packing her bags, she returned to her hometown, choosing solitude over subservience and self-worth over self-sacrifice. This decision wasn't just a physical move, it was a profound act of reclaiming her own life and dignity. Her journey from a life of unrecognized toil back to self-empowerment became a beacon of hope and inspiration. Aura's story challenges us to rethink how we view the responsibilities and expectations placed upon aging parents. It's a powerful reminder that while family can be a source of great comfort, it should never come at the expense of one's joy and freedom. Her experience illuminates the importance of respecting the autonomy of older adults and highlights the need for a balance between family obligations and personal fulfillment. Through Aura's courageous stand, we are invited to reflect on our own lives and the choices we make. Are we truly honoring the dignity and dreams of those we love? Or are we, perhaps unwittingly, diminishing their spirit? Aura's story is not just about her struggle, but also a universal call to ensure that in our twilight years, we can all pursue happiness and self-fulfillment, rather than becoming entangled in cycles of unappreciated labor. Before retiring, I envisioned a serene and fulfilling chapter of my life filled with simple pleasures. I dreamed of dancing joyfully in the town square, raising a little dog to keep me company, cultivating a vegetable garden with my own hands, and savoring peaceful moments in my beloved hometown. I planned to reconnect with old friends over tea, cherishing the connections and conversations that I had longed for. But reality, as it often does, turned out to be far more unforgiving. Instead of basking in the tranquility of my dreams, I found myself ensnared in a relentless cycle of unpaid labor for my son's family. My days were consumed with household chores, leaving me with no time or energy for the activities I had eagerly anticipated. One particularly disheartening Saturday night, while I was elbow-deep in cleaning, my son and daughter-in-law casually mentioned their plans for a 4-day vacation. They seemed oblivious to my feelings and the burden they were placing on me. Their carefree departure left me to manage everything alone, caring for the children and keeping up with household duties, while they enjoyed their time away. It was an unfair and painful reminder of how my life had been reduced to a series of thankless tasks. Every time I wanted to visit friends or take a moment for myself, there was always another chore waiting. The disparity between their comfortable lives and my unrelenting work was deeply frustrating. I spent countless days reflecting on this harsh reality, grappling with the unfairness of it all. Finally, I reached a turning point. I realized I could no longer sacrifice my happiness for the convenience of others. I made a bold decision to prioritize myself. I told my son I was going to visit an old friend for a few days, effectively stepping away from my role as their unpaid housekeeper. My daughter-in-law's reaction was one of anger and accusations, but I was resolute. I knew I had to reclaim my life. Returning to my hometown was like stepping back into a dream I had almost forgotten. I finally started living the retirement I had always envisioned. My days are now filled with activities I love: dancing freely in the square, nurturing a small dog that brings me joy, and tending to my garden. Reconnecting with old friends and sharing stories over tea has become a cherished part of my routine. This new chapter is everything I had hoped for, a testament to the power of reclaiming one's dreams and the importance of self-respect. Aura's story is a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience that can emerge when we stand up for ourselves. Her decision to leave behind a life of unappreciated sacrifice and embrace her happiness is not just an act of defiance, but a bold declaration of her right to live on her terms. Her journey challenges the traditional expectations placed upon aging parents and emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries and pursuing personal fulfillment. Aura's transformation resonates deeply with older adults who often find themselves caught between familial responsibilities and personal desires. Her story is a clarion call for everyone to reflect on their own lives and the choices they make. It encourages us to cherish our autonomy, seek joy, and live boldly. In a world where aging is frequently accompanied by diminishing expectations and increasing demands, Aura's tale serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration. It reminds us that self-respect and happiness are essential and that every individual, regardless of age, deserves to live a life filled with purpose, dignity, and joy. If Aura's story inspires you and motivates you to take action towards reclaiming your happiness, please comment 9 if it does not resonate with you. Feel free to comment 0. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us. Thank you for taking the time to read and reflect on this journey. As we wrap up today's exploration of Aura's inspiring journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful lessons we've learned. Aura's story is more than just a tale of reclaiming one's independence. It's a profound reminder of the importance of self-respect, personal fulfillment, and the courage to prioritize our happiness, even in the face of familial expectations and societal pressures. What have you taken away from Aura's experience? Is there something specific you've learned that you plan to apply in your own life? We'd love to hear from you. Please comment below with one thing you've learned from this story and how you plan to bring it into practice in your own life. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please leave your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that matter. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you in the next video.